computer. I'm going to open this up like this. I want to make sure I can see comments. So just give me a second as I get the group open here. Yeah. Turn off the volume. And we're good to go. Oh my God. Okay. Tamara, welcome. I am so excited today to be leaning into this energy with you. And for those that don't know me well, there's some people that are going to be in this group or coming into this group that have no idea who I am, are new to my world. And I just want to say welcome. This is my bedhead slash let my hair dry on its own look. And I am completely owning this dimension to myself. And I actually really I love this playful energy I've been escaping into lately. And I love the feeling of what I'm about to lead into you, literally breathing into you, stepping into you about this energy of a dynamic life. Now, people are going to be popping in and out. People are going to be watching this replay. Wherever you are in this energy, I just want you to really feel into what I'm about to share with you over the next period of time, whatever that looks like for us today. Because I've been learning, embodying, moving through new levels in my own world, new experiences, new adventures, new learnings, which I call now new resources in this beautiful expansion energy called life. And a lot of it's going to come back to the root of what I want to speak to you guys about today, and about this pivotal palette, we're going to call it, of energy that we get to play within, that we get to live within, that we get to be within. And when the word dynamic dropped into my field of awareness in connection with this masterclass today, I was like, is it actually in the energy of what like Wikipedia says or Webster's dictionary says of dynamic, of a movement within life of change? And that's obviously paraphrased. And that's probably Spirit's actual definition of dynamic. And I went, I feel like this is a relevancy of energy, of us embodying, moving through our shifting in our lives. And the more we shift in our world and the more we dismantle some of the crap that we've taken on in trauma, in belief systems, and experiences, in the mechanism of the energy of the world, the more we pull out into this embodied and held energy. And within this energetic form, within this energetic capacity, we're able to move through this field in the purity of our light. And it's not until we actually make choices every single day to hold this lighthouse, this vibrancy in us, in all the facets that we're being called. Now, some of you guys are in entrepreneurship. Some of you are not in entrepreneurship. Some of you are not working currently in your life. Some of you are working currently in your life. Some of you are in relationships. Some of you aren't. Some of you have kids. Some of you aren't. The dimensions don't matter in this landscape of what I want to speak to you about, but it's the energy of which we hold this vibration. So if I were to go back for the last 5 minutes since I've been talking and actually really listen to what I just said to you, I'm like, wow, like my brain is trying to not think about what I actually just said, because I'm channeling in a purity of light. And, you know, God and I had a conversation, and I use God as a verbiage. I use the universe, I use divinity, I use source, I use spirit, I use all the words interchangeably, because for me, all of them connect into the connection within us, this power we hold here. Like God isn't separate from me, isn't separate from any of you. It is within us, all of us, universal alignment, our divinity, everything flows here. So I was like, God, and talking to myself, right? God, just let me come with an open heart to be able to share today in this energy of what does it feel like to live a dynamic life? What is meant for us really to understand as humans in this world, in this collective of energy, that we don't have to sacrifice ourselves. We don't have to, you know, play in this shit mediocrity because the world says we should. We have this availability within us to move through this. So allow me to speak what needs to be spoken. So I don't even know what I just said to you the last 5 minutes. I have no idea. And I love this. And I love that I have surrendered so much in my life to be able to lead through this direct link connection of source. Now, guys, I need you to understand a couple of things. I do a lot of work in this. I do a lot of work to prepare my energy. I am still working within the Akashic Records today because I'm finishing up level 2's manual for those people that have decided to take certification to learn how to work in the Akashic Records. And I have that power within me, the power of our soul center, the power of the ultimate truth of our experiences and what this vibration feels like. I'm tapped into the source within me, and I'm tapped into the energy of this collective to share this message today. So it's coming in like really cool in the energy field. And some of you guys have been in my world for a while, so you've seen me teach in different dimensions. Some of you have never been here before. And I am so excited to like lean into this energy with you today, for you to feel this energy within you, to feel this dynamic integration inside of your field, to feel this movement within you in this space of time. So let's talk first. Well, let's talk fifth now, whatever it is I said before, this moment of time, in the energy of dynamic. What does dynamic mean to you? You know, when I say to you living a dynamic life, we are ever evolving as humans. We know this to be true because that's part of our journey here on earth. We grow, we learn things, we discover, we move through, we integrate, you know, we learn lessons, we choose to never do it again and then do it again, you know, like this whole cycle of things. I launched today my podcast in the energy of the wild feminine energy, but also like the sexual edge energy. And I go into details of some past partnerships when I wasn't ever fully expressing who I was from a sexual dynamic, and understanding the process of how I've learned so much about myself over the last year of really owning the dimensions to who I am. And I say that to you because when I look back on the word dynamic and I really feel into the dynamic energy in my world, dynamic also plays an energetic field of you owning who you are and moving within that to explore and to endeavor and to like open up this beautiful palette within you to move through this energy. And sometimes in our life, and I believe that all of us have been here at some point in our landscape, is that we doubt that we can hold this. Hey, Natasha. We doubt that we can be in this. We doubt that life could actually be that connected, that loving, that fulfilled, that pleasurable, right? And we doubt that. Now, I reference it in the podcast today in a very dominant energy of sexuality, but that references all the dynamics of our world. If we look at it from, if we are not stepping in to express ourselves in the bedroom with a connected person that we adore and love potentially, or that we have an intimate flair with, then most likely it's not showing up in our everyday world. Like, we don't live a life we desire. We are sacrificing ourselves in life. We've made up these excuses to say, well, I should be, or that's what my mother did, or this is a thing that our family does, or my coach told me that entrepreneurship was like this and this is the only way. And a lot of you have been in my life for a while and you've heard me speak to this. Well, when I talk to you guys about it in this dynamic energy of choice and change, we are these human beings in this experience, and the only thing constant in our life is change. So if we think about that in that mechanism and we really take that into our bodies and go, fuck, that's true. The only thing constant in our life is change, our evolution, or our rebellion against the revolution, which then is taking us down these narrow winding paths in these chaotic states, in these positions that we actually don't really want to be in, because we are right here, right now, not allowing ourselves to lead in this dynamic energy. Every single human being on this earth has a vibration of purity of light within them. Whether they choose to step into that or not is a choice. And we have amazing examples all over the place right now of people that are choosing not to step into this dynamic light. They are choosing to lead their life through their shadow, through their power, through their control, through their distortion, through their manipulation, and through all the things. And some of them are your family members, and some of them are the governments that reign over your communities and your countries, you know, and some of them are your exes, right? And some of them might be you when you are in your shadow. and just calling it out like it is, because we all have duality within us, and it's whether it's triggered in a dynamic that we aren't doing the healing within ourselves. That's a whole freaking other masterclass to teach. But inside of us is our availability to move through change. And inside the change, every single time we make a choice to shift, whether it's a food we eat, or whether it's vibrational alignment and energy, or whether it's a workout we choose to get into, or whether it's a program we purchase, or like the 4 of you guys that are here live right now, whether it's a masterclass you choose to be a part of and an energy you're choosing to bring into your life, you get a choice every day as to how you move through that. And through those choices result in change. So you can take this masterclass and do absolutely nothing with it. If you guys are here, you could be like, Colleen was fucking full of shit, and I don't believe anything she says, and you can continue on with your day. And that is amazing. That is a choice you have. Or you can start to feel into something that I'm saying to you, and it may be just one nugget. But that one nugget, now my body's going into goosebumps, is the nugget that you needed to hear today to make the shift and the change in your life to move you closer to the dynamic life that you've been desiring. And maybe that life is in your love life, or it's in where you live, or it's in, your business, or it's in your acceleration of light in the world. It could be any and all of those, or a more plethoras, right? But each of us is unique, right? So we're all moving through our own unique experience, but you get to choose now to make a shift. Now, let's talk about this, because we obviously know that all the changes we make in life are not airy-fairy. They're not playing around with the fairies all the time in fairy dust, or maybe they are playing with fairies, but maybe we're in the duality of the fairy energy and we are self-sabotaging the shit out of our space. That happens too, because I will own this. I loved self-sabotaging my life. That used to be like my MO, and I was so fucking good at it. Like, I was so good at it. And I'm still in a vibrational alignment right now of cleaning up some of the shit that I did back then to self-sabotage some stuff. It's an amazing process. And I say that with pure sarcastic remarks, but in the purity of light of learning too. Would I change anything? I'm going to have to say no. And the only reason why I say no is because I wouldn't be embodied exactly like this today if I didn't move through some of the dynamics of that. Now, part of me is like, well, what if it could have been easier? But then I probably wouldn't have learned. Apparently I like to buy the t-shirts and fucking wear them and be like, I survived, into this space of time. Change is not easy, especially for some of you guys that are regimented, very structured, and stabilizing. It fucks you up every single day of the week. It does, because you need to be calculated in your change. A lot of you, though, are starting to listen to your intuitive flow and starting to take action in immediacy when things drop in that are dismantling the actual protective barriers you've built around the box. Because if you can be safe in your box, working your systems in your box and being in your box, then you are safe. And you don't have to experience this, or you don't have to feel that, or you don't have to be in this. But a lot of your boxes right now are being blown up on purpose, because the boxes are keeping you small in a world that is asking you and literally pulling at you to shift. Because the life you are actually meant to live, meaning the life before you jumped into this body, before you said, yes, sign me up for this lifetime here, and jumped into your soul body and got into your mother's womb and birthed into this world, you said, I want to have these personality traits. This is going to be my figure that I'm going to own in this life. And these are the dynamics of what I'm going to learn through, right? And what I'm going to bring. And I'm going to need probably some extra help. So like for my backpack, I swear to God, I was like stacking in all the talents. Okay, well, we need to make sure she also has a pure channel to being able to access more info, because we can see what's about to happen here. And my soul's like, yes, oh my God, I'm going to go through all these amazing experiences and I'm going to learn so many things. But we're going to need some help, because she's going to get into some shit shows in her life and she's going to need some help. And not just the normal help, like normal people need, like she's going to need like accelerated help, because she's going to be in some fucking, crazy ass shit. So literally I put on my backpack and I was like freaking drowning with all the shit I had to bring to earth because of the experiences I was about to go through. And I joke with you about this, but I don't, because this is what happened. So I made a choice as a soul to come into this body, into this physical form, into the availability to move within this body with these key assets that most of the time I didn't remember that I had, but I would live life and be like, I can't believe that happened. I'm like, how did I even get out of that? You know, that was literally, if I look back, a line I use all the time. And I was like, man, I had a good team working behind me. And when I finally understood that I had so much support and so much availability, I just sat down and I went, guys, you've been working overtime, man. Who's taking a vacation now? Because I got a handle on this, because there was some shit. And some of you guys know some of this, but some of you have like, I have so many stories, so many stories. And a lot of them are hilarious now to actually lean into and feel into and think about. But it's like, still like just the dynamics of that. But why I say that to you is inside of us as well, at the same time, we brought with us this imagery of a life that we are meant to live here. When I was working with my first spiritual mentor, she even said to me, she goes, you are not supposed to struggle like this. Like financially, you are supposed to be very well taken care of. This is not an MO. This is a created Colleen thing that you created yourself. It's not a pivotal pillar. It's not something that is like, you need to work through karmic debt on. That isn't a thing. Like this is you as a human fucking shit up for yourself. And I was like, oh my God, it's totally true. It's totally true. And I own that and I watch it and I still work within this energy of like holding this and being in this and like being in this space of time and understanding this. So why I say this to you today is that the life you are destined, that you've called in, that you have already signed the dotted line on, is here already in the ethers. You don't have to become anything else. You have to remember who the fuck you are to own this. And when we make changes in our life and we move through the dynamic energy of riding the roller coaster of change, we then get to move the needle quicker to this expanded energy that is already inside of us, that is meant for us. I had a client last week ask me, Colleen, when is this going to end? Like, when are we going to be done with the learning? And I was like, I'm sorry, sister, never. The day that you pass away, you'll be done with this learning. And we hope that when that happens, we've checked all the boxes so we don't got to come back into the same lessons. Imagine, right? Some of you have been through some shit and you're like, damn, I don't want to go back through that channel. Pay attention. That's what I was saying, pay attention. That's what I want to say to you. We're never done learning. We're never done learning. We are on a journey, but it doesn't mean that it has to be as chaotic, as struggle-oriented, as dynamic, meaning in the negative sense, as it's been. You could watch it and go, okay, here we go. We're about to change again. And you could drop into peace in your heart to understand that and not push against it, instead of surrendering into it and roll with the tide. So that rolling with the tide makes it easier to digest, makes it easier to work through, makes you more aware, allows you to be more present. And then you can actually shift through this dynamic energy and actually ride the wave instead of being sucked in under the undertow of the wave, right? And the recognition of this is a key dynamic. And seeing the patterns in your life, when you run away from change, you create distortion. Say that again. When you run away from change, you create distortion. Some of you have been fucking running for a long time and you're pushing up against it and you're backing off of it instead of going and literally completely annihilating it. And then you're standing there with all the pieces around you and you can go, okay, I blew the whole fucking thing up. Now what do I really need? Because some of you have been playing so safe in your life. And now granted, some of you need to play safe in your life. That's your actual MO. And that is a mechanism of your actions that need to be taken. And I honor you. Now, if you're like me, I don't know if I've ever played safe in my life recently. Definitely have in the past. But recently, I'm learning, meaning being in conscious awareness. So when I say I'm learning, it means it's still in my field of awareness of stepping into the space fully ignited. Now, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit later about Ignite, the masterclass that's happening on Thursday. And if you feel inclined, you can join us. But really feeling ignited. So I am a part of a group coaching program. I am a participant. I do not lead anything in this program. Well, I always lead in my light in everything I do. So technically that's not true, but I technically don't get paid to be there. I pay to be there, and I'm a participant taking in information. One day, we were on a training and I saw these people like commenting about how they didn't have money to do stuff, and some of them aren't getting success in their businesses. So I opened up a 30-minute call for this group. And I said, guys, whoever wants this call, I will give you 30 minutes free of my time where I will dive in to ways you can create money, for how you can scale your business, for how you can grow it, and how you can step into this. And I went boom and put out the post. 3,000 members, 7 people booked in my calendar to do this. The next week on our training, our coach was literally talking about this exact same thing that I had mentioned like 2 weeks before, let's say 2 weeks before. So it was like 2 weeks in the training. And he was talking about people having side income, people moving this needle, people creating, groups, paid groups, online businesses, all these things. And these people are like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. So I boldly went into the group and went, guys, and I even sent it in the chat while he was talking. Guys, everything Sean's talking about is exactly what I offered you guys for a free call with me to be able to lean into this. And this is my superpower. It's one of my many superpowers. This is one of them. I literally can fucking channel this in and get it out. And I'm super confident in this space because I've helped hundreds, maybe even thousands now of people move through this energy in their businesses and their infrastructures. And I was like, I can help you. I called them out. And I normally wouldn't call people out, okay? Like I would if you are in my tight containers, if I get you, if we're in here and you've chosen to be in this energy with me, I'm gonna call into the energy that's channeling through me. But I called them out. And I got on a call, 40 people then booked in, blew up my whole calendar. And I still managed to find places. I still got space for people. I'm making it all work, right? And maneuver through in this energy field. But I found myself jumping on these calls and not fully embodying the power that I hold. And I caught myself in the first call right at the beginning and I went, fuck this, Colleen. Like, it's time that you really own this energy of who you are. Yeah, I'm nice and I can be nice and I can still be nice and in my power. And I can still be potent and be in the energy of who I really am and still serve them and collapse time around them and give them. I just tap in and fucking channel. I'm like, you need this, this, and this. And this is how you're going to make it work. You're going to do it like this, and you're going to do it like this, and you're going to do it like this. Go. Most of these calls last 10 minutes because I literally drop in and people are like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, because I made a choice one day to believe in myself that I could hold this energy. And the day that I made a choice to believe it, then I started to take action in it. And then I started to help people move through it. And that's the dynamic of what I started to create. And then people started getting results and more people started getting results. And then they came up against the shit shows in their life that they needed to deal with. And then they started to do other work inside the field. And then we're activating and then we're moving through. And this whole thing started to snowball. And why I say this to you today and why I'm bringing this up is that as we move and change, and we start to lead in this dynamic energy in our field and in our lives, we then start to see things lock in into a knowing and understanding. It goes, here it is, check mark. Here it is, check mark. So now these pillars are solid. They're solid pillars. So now we're no longer working off the base of over here. We're working in the base of here now. So now all this growth has happened. We've done the changes. We're now in a new infrastructure. So like we can even think about this in our health, like our body, right? You release the 20 pounds. Now the body is here demanding new things, more weights, more currency, maybe hit workouts. Maybe you could do that ab set now or whatever it is, right? But we're at a new landmark. Can you go backwards? Technically you can. In the perspective of health, you can diminish. You could do the same thing in income. Yes, you can go backwards. But if you root this in and you lock this in right here in the dynamics of what you believe to be true because you've proven it out, there's no way that you can go that way. And when the signs start to show up again where you're like, oh shit, it looks like, because my weight fluctuates so intensely, like twice a month during my like cycle, I gain 5 to 10 pounds automatically. And I've done that forever, my whole entire life. Maybe it's something I need to look into. Okay. Yeah, I heard you. Okay, got you. I'm listening. But it's a thing. So I can watch my body in real time, within minutes, and like within 30 minutes in a day, it could be different than what it was 30 minutes ago. And I'm watching this happen in my field to be like, how do I serve my body more? How do I move through this energy? Like, I've got a lot I'm working within my physical form, because imagine all the energy that I've shifted, but before, being so naive, didn't do the work to help the body move through. So now I am literally pulling out infrastructures from the past. It's part of my pathway. I own this dynamic and I own this space in my world. And I really hold it, and I'm consciously aware, and I'm paying attention, and I'm listening, and I'm moving through this, and it's around me. But we have these stable pillars that are here now in our understanding and dynamic. And as we shift and change, we get to the next one. However, you need to own this. So if you look at your life right now and inventory all the things that you've learned over the last 6 months, maybe even year, let's go to the beginning of this year. Some of you guys are in my programs, and you've been in my programs all year, and you are not the same person. But part of you is still trying to play out like you are that person, and you're not. Your life has changed. The way you think about life has changed. The monetary side, if you're doing the work, has changed. Your connection to yourself, your connection to your kids, your connection in your relationships, the work you're doing, things have changed. A lot of you guys have done a lot of work this year. So if you were to look back in inventory of the actual shifts that have happened for you, what are the most dominant things? You changed your outlook on life. You know, your relationships are deeper rooted. Maybe you actually figured out what love means to you. You know, my ability to tap into light language is so fluid now that it's like, it is me. I speak light language every single day to myself. And, you know, I'm tapped into the English language when I'm creating this manual for the Akashic Records training that I start teaching on Friday, but I could download it in light language. Now, nobody else would be able to read it. Well, they may intuitively be able to read it, but it just wouldn't serve a certification program where they actually have to use the information. But in January, I tiptoed in light language. You know, last year when I taught the 12 Veils program, last year in September, Hathor, goddess Hathor, Egyptian lineage, in case you don't know who she is, beautiful dimensional being of light, activated, like I've been doing work throughout that year anyways. I was in a program activating light language with a light language practitioner, activator, and Hathor demanded, although she says to me right now, I didn't demand anything. I just highly encouraged and didn't allow you to say no. I'm like, yeah, I know, I hear you. That I speak light language in every single session to clear the veils we were clearing. This year, for those of you guys that were in it, there wasn't a week I wasn't speaking it, and it wasn't even a thing. It was just what we did, right? And it just was the energy that I held. But if I look back over this last year, so much has changed for me in my embodiment, in the purity of my light, in the way I feel in here, even though I'm working on physical stuff, but I'm so much more deeply rooted, connected to myself, like into this dynamic of things. Like this month alone, and I know this month alone is a powerful month for me. I go to Salt Lake City next week. I'm about to meet a whole bunch of people from this coaching program that I've done all these calls with, and I'm going to meet them in person. But there's something expanding when I go. And there's a part of me that's rebelling against going, and I am working with her dynamics because there was this embedded belief in me a long time ago that I wasn't scared of success. I actually was scared that it was real, that it actually could come true. And like, I wasn't scared of holding the success or being in the success. And I don't like the word scared because it's not a vibration I live within, because I don't really have fear. Like, I don't really have fear. I can look at things and go, okay, that shit's scary looking, but I understand why it's happening. Now let's move it through. And I am still a human with a nervous system in this experience. So I can work through the mentalism of things, even when I got robbed and stuff. There was one point where I actually dropped in and went, fuck, I'm kind of scared. Now I need to take an action, right? And move it out, get myself into a position where I don't need to be sitting in that. But looking at it, I'm like, well, why do I really feel scared about this, right? So like the energy that's moving through in this experience of this movement within us and this fear I used to hold of success, of like, will it, like, this is actually going to work. It's going to work. I'm in the depth of it right now. Like, I'm about to collapse time this month into the highest revenue month that I've ever had ever in my whole entire business model. I'm about to connect deeper in with some of these relationships. I'm about to go in to see people in a 2,500 room, like at a theater in the middle of the United States, who I don't know anybody physically. Like I've never met any of them physically. I'm about to drop into this. I feel my heart is expanded in this experience. I know I'm about to meet people that are about to shift my world, and I'm all in for this. I'm ready consciously, but there's a part of me that's still in that space of that change. That's like, are you sure you're ready? I think we're going to self-sabotage this whole fucking thing. And I'm like, fuck you, bitch. That is not how we live any longer. We're stepping in. Like there's something that's about to move through, and you guys know me, and those that don't know me well enough, but I live in my intuition, and it moves me and it moves through me. So I am in this conversation with my duality in real time. And I have been over the last 3 days in real time about this trip that I leave next Wednesday to get on a plane to fly to Salt Lake City. I'm also flying first class because I'm fucking bougie like that. And I made a decision that I was playing all in. Is that exactly where the investment of my funds should have been going? No, but it's an investment in the belief of expansion and holding that energy. And I have a one-to-one coach, right, that is in my field, and we're creating all of my lead gens, back-end automation stuff that will go out into the world. And there's 8 different ways people can get into my world with free things, free meditations, free trainings, free things, like all these. This is a free thing, right? You can get into my world this way, but this is like an automated process that we're creating. And I said, I'm going to be on a plane for 8 hours, pretty much. Like after I land in the Houston airport, I'm going to be jumping on another plane to get to Salt Lake City. I have to do 2 planes. There's no direct flight from San Jose, Costa Rica to get there. I go, I'm going to have time. He's like, I need you to write 40 emails. I'm like, fuck, 40 emails. And my natural state would be to rebel against that. But my other side to me that is really living in this dynamic energy of this life I desire to live is like liberation happens in these 40 email sequences. Like it's like 8 emails per offer. We're doing 5 offers to start. Then I've got the other 3 coming into play. And this is all automated, meaning the second someone signs up, stuff moves through their field and leads them into things. And I've asked God, and I said, God, like, what is the actual outcome of all of this? And he's like, serve humanity, step into your impact, but also to create a minimum of 50K months in evergreen offers. And I went, fucking right, God, let's go. Right. And I am ready to make this shift, but I'm also dealing with this side of me, the ego, the maybe inner child that's scared of actually having success in this expansion inside of this space that I'm working with her to move through, to go, look, babe, we desire a dynamic life. We don't need to struggle or be scared or, rebel in the way that we used to rebel to make ourselves feel important. Because that was my MO. I felt, and my parents didn't see it this way. They lived in their own perception, but I was the oldest child. I have a brother who's younger than me, but my brother was like the prince and he could do nothing wrong. And my mom, had an energy that it's almost like she was jealous of who I was, and she didn't mean to, and I know she didn't in the purity of her light, but it was like she was diminishing me my whole entire life. My dad was very passive, didn't pay a lot of attention to me, even though looking back, he probably did, but not in the way that I wanted him to. And I fought for attention my whole life. I look at it in the landscape of the relationships that I took on, and like me fighting to be with a man who used to be my general manager at work, or my boss at the movie theater, or all of these big shots that I was like, I'm aiming for the top because I wanted the attention. And then I'd land the guys and then I'd be like, oh, this is not what I wanted. Right. And then I'd move off because I was driven and I was a hustler and I moved energy through, and I was dog on a bone. Like when I wanted something, I was in it, but I kept pushing the energy. I kept forcing stuff to happen. I don't do that any longer. I allow, if I get pinged, I send a message. You guys can react to it. You guys can take an offer out. You guys can choose to move it through and move that out. But I seriously am in this space of moving into this life that I desire, the bravery to hold it, the courage to step in, the courage to speak it. Like, guys, not everybody's going to go out and put out a photo like I did on Instagram 2 days ago. I should have not even been wearing underwear. Actually, I looked at it later. I went, you should have just taken your underwear off, because it would have been the same energy, right? Of this bold energy moving through. And now not everyone's going to need to be bold and show up naked online or like own their rebellion, because that's not you. But there's a lot of the dimensions to you that you are not stepping into right now, because you're holding fear and you're in this place of like living in your discomfort that you think is okay to be in, like your comfort levels, the safety of your life, when on the other side of this is actually everything that you desire to be, feel, hold in your world. It's right here. And all it's going to take is like one post, one embodiment that leads into the next embodiment, that leads into the next thing, that leads into the next phase. And it's like, here is this life. It's right here. It's not going to take you 5 years to get there. It's not going to take you 500 million things in order to do it, or the like 10,000 hours of fucking practicing, right? That we've been taught to believe. It's going to take one choice and then another choice and then some change. And then it's going to do it again. One choice and then another choice and then some change. And I don't know if that is the vibration for you. Maybe it's a change and a choice and then a change and a choice. Or maybe for you, it's like a choice, change, or a change, choice, right? And I'm fooling around a little bit, but I'm not. Because living a dynamic life is going to take some bravery. It's going to take some grit. Fuck, you know, Sunday I was sitting here and I took the video of that. I actually have a reel that will come out eventually with me in that imagery. But I sat there and I went, are you fucking serious? You know, this is the conversation I'm having. And I'm like, you haven't put out a post like this in a long time. And I'm like, yeah, I've been hiding. I've been hiding. And some of you may be like, you haven't been hiding. You tell me to fuck off all the time on your posts. I'm like, yeah, I do that. But that's easy for me. That's easy for me to own the boldness. That's easy. But to show up like this, and I'm like, well, I kind of actually look pretty good. And that tattoo that I just got on my back, my Egyptian, like it's an Egyptian tattoo of Egyptian wisdom. It actually represents the Kybalion and the emerald tablets merged together in an emblem that's on my back now as wings of expansion through Isis's energy. I've been working a lot with her, and I know that I'm an initiate, and I know that I actually hold a part of her energy in my field, that I'm meant to own this power. And she's been talking to me. She's like, dude, you've been playing it really safe. And I'm like, I know. So this has to go out exactly how it is. This has to go out. And I'm like, that's why the first line on the post was like, this isn't about sex. Because it's not. And although there's a sexual energy about it, this is about owning your bold life. So some of you have been playing in this field of awareness of really thinking that it's okay to be okay. It's okay to be okay. And it is okay to be okay. Because sometimes we just need to be okay, right? And sometimes we just move through a whole bunch of shit and we need to breathe and ground. But some of you have been playing in the okay field for years and years and years. And if you are here right now on live, watching this video at this exact moment in this training at like 39 minutes in, you're into this training right now, it's time to fucking change. Because you wouldn't be here this whole entire time for this long in this session right here, right now, on replay, in wherever, live, to not hear this. You chose to listen to this, which means your soul was calling you to hit play, to step in, to go to the link, to click on it, to be here right now, which means something needs to give in your world. Where are you not living a dynamic life, and how can you change that today, right now? The way you show up, the way you communicate, the things that you are like sacrificing in. Some of you have been fucking sacrificing yourself and your careers. Oh, it's just because it's the money and it's like solidification. And sometimes it's going to take a process. I get that. Some of you can't just go in and quit your jobs at this moment of time because you need to feed your kids. I understand that. I really do. But are you taking an action every day to move yourself out of that, to create the dynamic life that is meant for you? And not even in creating, to remember it's already there and then take the actions dropping in to align it. I'm not exactly where I want to be yet. I'm not. However, I live in Costa Rica. I live in a beautiful landscape of like literally divinity every day. The nature and its environment teaches me all the time. I live in a very expanded energy, and I live in a place that I can breathe. I do. I have amazing clients. I do amazing connected work. Like I seriously giggle when I'm creating stuff because I'm like, fuck, the bold program that I'm starting to teach next week. Every single time I look at the graphic, I'm like, this is fucking good. I was like, I don't know who was channeling through me when we created this, but you are fucking on point. And that juicifies me. Like that creates an energy inside of me that's like, holy shit, this is fucking great. And I love that. Now, my next levels are literally making a bigger impact, amplifying the fuck out of my light and getting out there, aligning with the man that I'm desiring to drop into my field. And if you actually listen to my podcast, you'll understand why, in all different plethoras of ways. And I'm ready for this next phase. Even though my inner child, even though the duality of my self-sabotaging self, even though the part of me that fears that it will all come true, because it will, because it's in me, I'm doing it despite them. And I'm helping them along in the process by having the real talk conversation. Like, we can't make the impact in the world if we're not stepping into this. And you, my friend, cannot make your impact in the world if you're not stepping into this either. And yeah, it's going to take some grit, and it's going to take a choice every single day. And guys, I don't make the right choices every day, like the right choices to embody this every day. God, no. You know, like I rebel against manuals, and I've been rebelling against this manual for 5 days. I've read 3 books this weekend instead of creating a manual. Like, you know, but I got into the manual today. I have a deadline. It has to get out today, right? And I did that on purpose to myself. And I get into the manual today. I'm like, this is fucking good. But I also am a human. And I understand this dynamic and dimension within myself as well. But I also get it so much that I can play with her and then not fuck everything else up. So if I ask you again this question about a dynamic life for you, what does this feel like in your world? And even in the shitstorms, and even when things don't look like they're going to change, and even when things are like knee deep and you're in the garbage, because I have been there and I still float through garbage every so often because we are human in duality, and we're coming up against these triggers and these mechanisms and these beautiful experiences for growth. How can you still remember the end game? And remember the vibration that you desire to hold. Joy, love, peace, tranquility, compassion, pleasure, all of these. Truth is a key one. Your light, abundance. When your bank account says $2, how do you still live in abundance? That's a real question for you. How do you find the silver lining in the $2? How do you look at maybe in your fridge and be like, fuck, we're abundant, man. Look at all the vegetables and fruit I have. Or like, shit, man, like, look at all the stuff that we have here. Look at the abundance of toys that your kids have. The abundance of gas in your gas tank. The abundance of love that you feel. I lived a life in scarcity a lot, in lack throughout a lot of my world. And whenever I was triggered and I wasn't doing the work, I'd go shopping. And before I moved to California, this is a real thing, I actually started to so I moved to California in 2018, for those of you that don't know. I started to purge, and I was like, seriously, you have like 50 sports bras. Like, I swear to God. And I wish I actually kept a lot of them now, because I'm like, I don't wear bras. Like, this is a bikini top. Like, I don't wear bras anymore. Like, normal bras, underwire, fuck that bullshit. I'm not wearing any of that. And most of the time I don't even wear a bra. And in normal North American standards, probably should wear one, but I'm like, fuck it. Everyone in Costa Rica, nipples are out everywhere. So I'm like, I don't even care. Not like full-blown nipples, like nipples in your shirt, you know, like exposing out. But I had like 50 sports bras and probably like 20 of them had tags on it. I think I have 2 here still that I haven't worn yet because I need to get down a size, which will happen once my figure realigns in the way that I feel it and see it and are in it. But 50 sports bras. Never mind when I left to go to Costa Rica, how many pairs of Lulus that I donated to the thrift store in Aurelia, Julie, in connection with tags. I had tags on clothes. Like when I think I dropped off 12 bags of clothing, 12 bags of clothing. And I'm talking about garbage bags of clothing to them. Not even like, I still have clothes, like some of my favorite jeans are in Canada still. I have 2 bins at my girlfriend's place, my leather jackets and some of my favorite jeans and some other like high heels that just wouldn't make sense here, but none of my high heels make sense here. But they make sense when I go to Salt Lake City, they do. Yeah, I'm excited about that. But like, I used to spend money everywhere. You know, Fabletics back in the day when it first came out, I seriously was on, like you had to buy like one thing a month or something. I would spend $300 to $500 a month on fucking workout gear. That's how much I had. This is even from Fabletics. That's kind of fun. I don't really wear this very. So funny how it was like, you should put that shirt on before you go live. I wasn't wearing this shirt an hour ago or like 2 hours ago. Interesting. But in the remembrance of this energy of scarcity and lack, I lived in that space. I lived there. I chased money. I was so bad at receiving. Like I was literally rebelled against receiving. And at the time I didn't have an understanding that you give and you receive. And that is an actual circulation in the world. Like that is a thing inside of stuff. Now I have to watch to make sure that I'm not purposefully holding my money in an energy of like, I don't want to give it up, right? Because that is also scarcity because of the fact that I'm not trusting that the universe will provide. So when I hit first class ticket, when I bought my ticket to Salt Lake City, that is an expanded energy. That is an energy that moves through, that opens you up, that you're like, fuck, I'm going to go sit in first class and I'm going to fucking bougie it up on my Mac computer in my fucking chair. And I don't really drink anymore, but I might actually have a mimosa, you know, like, hi. That's a dynamic life I choose to live. I want to live that life. I want and desire to feel that connection within myself to live that life. Oh my God, don't even start me on Shoe Dazzle. Tamra, seriously, that too. And those shoes are shit. Like oh yeah, oh my God, don't even start me on Shoe Dazzle. So I want to ask you today, and really ask you today at the root of you today, what do you really desire? And what actions are going to be needed to take for you to move this through? And yeah, it's going to take awareness. It's going to take discernment. It's going to take you paying attention. It's going to take some action. It's going to take choice. And you're going to be in a battle, the same battle that I'm in with my past self about this level of expansion I'm about to move through. But guys, I've done the work. I've been doing the work for 14 years. And like 10 of those years, I fucking self-sabotaged all the work. And then I started leading in the work. And then I started to almost believe in the work. And then I was like full blown in 2022. Right. And now it's been a year and 9 months and it's only getting juicier. And there's been times throughout that whole entire time that I fucking went down into the rabbit hole. Like, I don't even know where I was in February, March of this year, fucking down in here, doing more shadow work. Me and Osiris were hanging out in the freaking unearthing energy of the earth-based grounding fire, we'll call it. Right? I go there too. But 51 at least % of my time is spent in dynamic energy, which then that 1% trumps the other 50. So where can you move 1% today? Where can you move that needle 5% this week? Because some of you already know. You know that you know that you know, but you are not doing and you are not acting and you are not being in that energy. You're choosing to stay. Oh, that's pretty fucking potent. I want to tell you guys about 3 things. Well, 2 things. The Ignite Masterclass that I mentioned. This is about lighting some shit on fire. If you feel this, the link will be in the group. You guys can go check out the landing page and feel into this, but it's $88. That's where it's staying now. And it is a potent masterclass for igniting, lighting stuff up, amplifying energies, moving through. You're going to choose what you want to amplify and you're going to step into ignite it. And we're going to drop into an activation and igniting through different vibrational flames to help assist with transmuting and to help assist with acceleration. So if that feels aligned, go and grab it. But I want to tell you guys about this fucking amazing bold program that I'm on that starts next week. The price goes up on Thursday to $666. The price is purposefully that price. It's at $333 right now. 4 live trainings, all in the power of owning your power, your bold energy, and fully stepping in to embody this. The graphics alone will tell you exactly the energy that is moving through, and you will know if you're supposed to be a part of this. You will know if you've been sitting on the fence, or you will know if you've been not taking action, and you will know if you are like in this space of really allowing yourself to become you. Now, it's not going to be in like you need to go express yourself sexually, although some of you need to fucking release in the power of that because you are not currently owning who you really are in the bedroom. But that is not the premise of the program. The premise of the program is owning all of you in all the ways, in showing up this way, in being in this space. Now, I'm not telling you to go be the fucking frigid bitch that you think you need to be when you're bold. That's not what I'm saying. Bold energy literally has a distortion around it, because when someone is bold and they know who they are and they're confident in who they are and they step into who they are, sometimes they're labeled the bitch. I can guarantee you that I've been called a bitch numerous times, and maybe some of you guys have called me a bitch in the past. That's just it. And when people speak truth and they own their truth, sometimes we call them bitches or assholes or jerks. But if we actually look back on that, there was something truth about that. You know, my ex-boyfriend used to be amazing at telling me the truth. And I think I called him an asshole a lot of times. And I hated when he used to step into my field and say shit like this, but it was always in a way of empowerment until it came a point where he started to judge me and didn't understand me any longer because that energy clashed. And then I went, you don't know me anymore. And that's not my truth. But I appreciate your opinion about who I am, but that's not me. That's a bold energy of totally understanding you at the core. Some of you guys are in the program already, amazing. If you're like feeling that, go check out the graphic. The landing page link will be in the group. You can go play. Now, I want to mention one more thing. I have one spot open for a one-to-one capacity in this certain activation that I'm creating. Some of you are ready to embody this dynamic life in more purity. Some of you are ready to step in fully into what this is. Some of you are ready to release the shitstorms that are still showing up and release the cords still holding you back, or release this energetic capacity that you've been holding on to for so long and ready to embody. It's one spot. If it's yours, you can message me. It's $1,111. When I launch it actually as an offer to the public this month later, it's $3,333. It will never be this low. And it's actually 8 weeks of integration together. There's 5 live calls. Anyways, I'll give you the details if it's for you. Just message me. It's one spot only. I've served 4 other people in this already, and they're going through it, and the changes are amazing. So I wanted to share that with you guys today in all of the energy of this dynamic. And I want you guys to really feel this. Now, I want to say one more thing. If you're watching this replay and those dates have changed, or the Ignite Masterclass has already been, but you're like, you were really feeling it, you can purchase them on replays. The Bold program will also have replays available as a self-led course. So don't worry about timeline. But for those of you guys on live or watching this today, you guys get access to the discounted rates, or you can come to it live. Let me get back to what I was saying. I just really want you and desire you to feel this. I've been speaking about this energy for a long time in different ways, from liberation energy to really holding in the purity of your light, to the way of the spiritual warrior, which I taught at the end of August at 5-day masterclass, and moving through these energies. It's all coming together in a different energy to speak to, but it's all necessary and needed for the movement of your light. So where in your life right now are you not leading a life that you really desire? And what is it going to take for you to move through this? Because I've been saying this forever, and I want to say it again. If it's in you, it's for you. If it's in you, it's for you. It doesn't mean that it's an outside dream. It doesn't mean that it's never going to come true. It just means that you need to start owning this now. And it's time for you to step into this, and it's time for you to fully move through this, because the shitstorms and the struggles and the lack and all of the shit that you've been holding on to and living within in this space of time is not necessary anymore. And you're being called to let go, and you're being called to surrender. And you know what's so funny is some of you guys know Roxy, and some of you are new to my world and you don't. She's a good friend of mine. She's also a client. She's in a lot of my programs. And she said to me the other day, can you teach a surrender 2.0 circle? That circle she's listened to, I don't even know, probably 20 times. And I taught it early 2022. And some of you guys that weren't in my world then. And this surrender circle was one of the most potent transmissions, taking us into levels deep within us to surrender more and more and more and more. So I'm going to launch it. It's going to be an October circle. It's going to be outside of my normal circles, but it's going to help assist all of you, whoever wants it, to surrender deeper into trusting yourself, into trusting your intuition, into trusting the energies coming through. I can't hold it this month. There's just too much going on with traveling and the Akashic program this weekend. Like, I just can't hold it. But if you're like, I feel that circle, just send me a message and I'll make sure to send you a link once it goes live with the date and stuff. But surrendering, guys, is the potency. How do you lean in more to this? And most of us have been taught to not surrender, to control and to keep controlling. But there's so much power in surrendering, and it's actually aligned power, and it's actually empowerment, and it's a beautiful expansion. And the more I surrender, the more cool shit happens for me. I still love to control stuff. I'm still a human with an ego, but every single day I'm like, okay, whew, drop in, drop in, drop in, and I will. And I keep doing it. So where in your life do you need to keep moving this through? Do you need to keep that needle up, to keep this maneuvering? Great opportunity to work with you one-for-one. Yeah, thanks, Natasha. It is a great opportunity, and it's a powerful one. Like, I'm so rooted in the work that I'm doing in the world, and not that I wasn't before, but I have a new level of escalation in me, and I can't wait to see all of you in your new levels of awareness to who you actually really are. Because who we think we are most of the time is just the illusion we've created to feel safe in the world, or because someone told us. And when we start to chip away at all of it, and we start to get into the root, and we start to get into the energy of it, all of this moves through for you. So I'm going to leave you with this today. Like always, guys, if you're watching this replay, if you have questions, you throw them in the comments. If you have questions, throw it in the Facebook group. If you're in the Facebook group, this is going to be on 2 separate platforms, and just choose today, wherever you are in your mechanism, wherever you are in this evolution, wherever you are, choose to step in, choose to become, choose to move this awareness through. It's a powerful, powerful thing. And I can only say this to you and emit energy to you to feel it. And until you do, you will never really know. But once you know, you can't unknow. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. All the information will be in the group if you're feeling inclined to anything that's going on over there, anything I mentioned. This is good. Grateful. I'm so grateful that I get to lead this way, that I get to step in, and that you guys come here and you show up to allow me to speak into this, into you. And I just want to say thank you. My soul says thank you. I see you. My soul is like, we're beaming. And I'm like, my human's beaming too. And I just love and appreciate all of you guys. And if you know of someone that could benefit from this, just literally send them an invite into the group. Like, I am so open that way. Like, just get them in. This is a free offer. This can be for anybody. If someone's on your mind and you're like, oh shit, like this would be amazing for Cindy Lou, or that would be great for that person, share it. Send them a link. Tell them about the group, whatever it is. I will open up the doors for all people, because I really feel like the more magic that we get to create in the world, and the more people embodied in their power, the more the light spreads. So I will see you all somewhere along the line soon, and have a great and magical day.